Next up, 21 Tech LLCs using data in government to reach constituents. Dilraj is a serial entrepreneur and a co-founder of Simple Connect, a technology company dedicated to modernizing government services. Simple Connect's mission is to create a completely paperless environment for government agencies that meets the growing expectations of the public. Their vision is to completely transform how citizens view and interact with their government, transforming the experience and relationship, bringing the best of Silicon Valley innovation with the deep domain knowledge of the public sector space. This is a solution that is overdue. Please welcome Dilraj and Simple Connect.
Good afternoon. My name is Dilraj Kahai, and I'm a co-founder of Simple Connect. I came running all the way from the other end of the convention center, so it's not nerves, it really is my lack of stamina. So I'm going to ask you guys something. Can you do a show of hands for me? I want to prove to you that we live in a digital relationship world. Who all here have used Uber or Lyft? Wow, that was easy. Keep your hands up for a second. In addition, who has used Yelp? Who's used Amazon? Google Maps, Waze? Thank you. I think I've proved my point. I could go on and on. This is just the first scratching of the surface. If we take a look at the last 15 years, and take a look at the arc of our lives, we have moved consistently into an incredibly connected world. And the reason we are so connected is that we expect instantaneous digital interactions. Now that's a key sentence, instantaneous digital interaction. And I want to put a pin on that and come back in a little bit. But what's more important than that is that our relationships are becoming digital. I communicate with my family on WhatsApp and Facebook. I communicate with my friends on Twitter. Sometimes they communicate with me 24/7. And I'm compelled to give them feedback 24/7. I communicate by listening to some of the biggest luminaries in the world through TED Talks and through podcasts. And I'm considered an ancient by my nephew and niece because I don't use Snapchat or Kik or Instagram or whatever the new latest thing is. Let me figure out how to, yeah. So let's take a look in the private sector for a second. The last 15 years, we've had a sea change in our economy. 4 of the 5 largest companies in America today are technology firms. NASDAQ is littered with them. There is a sea change of technology firms coming into our country and coming into the world. But the important point to note over here is that they have our trust. Trust is one of those emotions that most companies are after, and they have a higher level of trust from the consumers than a lot of the traditional firms. So what's the common thread on trust? Why is this? The reason that these businesses have gained our trust is because they've learned to evolve on how to interact with the new consumers in a digital environment. Digital experience equals trust plus loyalty. This is the equation that these companies are using. They're in a dogfight around our loyalty. And what we've noticed is that these companies don't have storefronts in every corner. They don't have 100,000 employees. All they have in their relationship with you is the way they interact with you digitally. I mean, just think about that for a moment. They've distilled their entire relationship with you with their digital interaction, with the way you interface with that iPad app or that phone app. And they're worth billions and billions of dollars. Traditional companies that are staying successful, for example, Walmart, a behemoth in the traditional company, has paid over $3 billion to buy Jet.com because it needed a very serious digital presence. Now, Walmart had Walmart.com. It had a digital presence. What it didn't have was a scalable, intuitive, and really beautiful setup and a beautiful interaction with the client. So it felt that buying a digital experience for over $3 billion was worth it. And you know, Walmart made the right move. The companies in that space that are not making their progress, that are floundering, Companies like JCPenney's, companies like Macy's and Sears, they have failed to make the transition from a traditional company over into the digital experience with their clients. So in those last 15 years that we've been seeing this explosion of tech companies, in those last 15 years where we've been seeing trust and loyalty grow with these companies, let's take a look at the public sector and see what's happening there. In this same time period, trust in government has fallen 40%. We now stand at 19% trust in government. This is the lowest we've ever been. Now, there are a number of reasons for this. There's globalization, there's a 2008 financial crisis, and I can go on and on as to the reasons why the trust in government has fallen. But there is a fundamental point here. People don't see our government as being effective. They don't trust the government because they feel we can't do the small things right. If we can't expect them to trust us on providing basic services to them, how do we expect them to trust us on things like healthcare and public safety? Are we delivering on our promises to our constituents to make their everyday lives easier? That's the question we need to ask. And just like Walmart realized that it cannot keep the trust and loyalty of its customers without a seamless digital experience with them, so also the government has begun to take notice and is making great strides in this. The federal government has opened 18F, which is an organization designed to do just this. Large states like New York State has spent tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to create an amazing website with a huge digital experience behind it. And they've been really rewarded on this. They've seen an exponential increase in the number of visitors going in and getting those services from them. And what they're after is to get back the trust of these people. Cities like New York City have spent tens of millions of dollars to create that digital experience. So there's a lot of time, money, and energy being poured into this. And the awareness and the movement in the public sector has begun. The arc of the government has moved from brick and mortar services to, in the 2000s, remember when we thought we had the revolution and we threw our websites on there? Well, that was a static setup, and we did have some services and some information. We did provide a revolution in terms of where we were. But I think now, 15 years later, there is a call to action. There's a call to action to create a seamless, comprehensive, and sustainable digital economy, to create that through all your services. So when I keep talking about this promised land of digital experience, what exactly do we mean? When we at Simple Connect studied this and we said we wanted to create our product, we took into account all these expectations around scalability, privacy, mobility, convenience, complexity. I mean, so many factors, right? And as we were working through this, we boiled it all down into three simple components. To us, the definition of a digital experience that is seamless is these three things. Number one, a portal that has all the services in one beautifully designed, intuitive offering. You've seen what Apple has done with their portals. You know what's possible once you give the client or the citizens that seamless offering. Number two, a paperless environment. I mean, it's unbelievable that I'm even saying this, but we cannot have a nice portal with a link that prints out to a piece of paper that we fill out, fax in, and hope for the best. To create a seamless digital experience, it has to be seamless. And number three, analytics. Analytics allow us to capture the trends. It allows you as an agency to determine what the bottlenecks are, to determine how you circle back to the first two and provide a flexible, a finely tuned service that the private companies are doing, and we lack. So this is what we thought would be the definition of a digital experience. So when we at Simple Connect designed this product, we designed something that embodied these philosophies specifically for the public sector. We didn't create something for the private sector. Our goal was to make it intuitive, make it transparent, and place thoughtful signposts that are easy to follow. Signposts like, how long is this going to take? How much is this going to cost? What do you need before you get started? we are trying to actually personify a government guide to the citizens to be a helpful kind of person that helps them through some rather complex transactions. I know I'm preaching to the choir, but let's talk a second about the benefits over here. I mean, if there was ever a hallelujah moment, it would be to go paperless. And that is not just because it's good for the environment, not just because the government has a huge footprint on paper that we need to change, but also because when you go paperless, you get tracking. And when you get tracking, you are allowed to do some real-time analytics. And those analytics is the key to give you the insights and the adaptations that you need, that you've never had before. It's the key to make you nimble and really be able to turn on a dime. The next benefit that I love is the intuitiveness. You guys are here for a reason. You want to have digital transformation. Wouldn't you love to be amazed at the type of service the citizens are getting from you and that you are offering? Wouldn't you love to be amazed to actually gain their warmth and trust? And studies have been done, and the digital offering creates that. And the last one is incredibly important. You are now a thought leader for your staff, a thought leader for a staff that's fulfilled, that has tools, that has trainings, that has the skills, the same tools, training, and skills that the private sector offers. Suddenly you have a staff that feels fulfilled, feels they can do their work, feels they can make changes quickly, and feels they're competitive to the private sector. And once you get a happy staff, you also get people who want to come into your organization from the private sector, who are the best and the brightest. Our vision has been recognized by some of the great leaders in this industry. Andrew McMahon is the co-founder of 18F, the federal organization, and he's also the regional director, former regional director of the GSA. He's a true leader in the digital space. He feels that if we can take a department that's paper-based and convert them to become a digital service agency, we've done our job in the startup world in helping the government. Ian Kalin, he's the former Chief Data Officer of the Department of Commerce, another pioneer in the field. He believes the analytics are the most important thing in the product, and he thinks our product has that. So we've designed a great product specifically for the public sector. But the reason I'm standing before you today is because of a passion that me and my co-founders share. The three of us have over 40 years in government, inside and out, and we haven't created a product for the private sector. What we've done is we want to resolve something that's fundamental for state and local agencies with two rules: without being prohibitively expensive and no custom development. So we vetted our products by trailblazers in this field. If you share our vision in changing the way the government is perceived by their citizens, then join us. For that reason, we're capping the number of participants we want to have in this program to 5, because our goal is to work really closely with them, share the vision, create an entire transformational roadmap with them, and really step by step move them into their vision. The cherry on the cake is that this is going to be a heavily discounted price that will never increase. Our date is March 31st, and we're very excited to embark on this journey. And ladies and gentlemen, the digital revolution in the public sector has begun. Join us, take the contact information. I'm going to be back there, and I really appreciate the time you've given me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dilraj. Awesome.